Hey yo, what's up guys? It is M and I am back today with another video. And today we are planning for 2021. And it's not going to be a bullet journal this time. Oh no, it is going to be in this gorgeous Mossery 2021 planner. Certainly I will be doing some of the planning dates and events stuff, but really the meat of this video is going to be kind of like the journaling part of it. But since we are about to watch me journal some things that are near and dear to my heart, I thought that it would be fitting for me to do a sappy voiceover too. So if you're into that, feel free to stick around, but if not, that is cool and understandable too. You are a free spirit with free will, at least I hope, and you are not bound by me. So, with that being said, let's carry on, friends. Full disclosure, they did send this to me, but this video is not at all sponsored. They only sponsored me for Instagram. I do have a code, it is M2DA15, and it is valid until December 15th, so y'all better be a little speedy if you want to get this, but yep, that is our situation. Just wanted to get that out of the way before I started this. Honestly, what I really love about Mossery's planners is that they have all this stuff in the front that prompts you to self-reflect. And as you can see, I'm going in with some word art mainly and then doing a little bit of doodling. So by this point in my rambling, I have written a couple of the films that have impacted me in the past year. So those have been Wonder Woman, Green, and The Social Dilemma. I chose Wonder Woman because it really gets me in my feels to see a powerful woman. The documentary Green because it forever changed my view on palm oil and consumerism. And last but not least, The Social Dilemma because it really made me reconsider my social media use and the industry that I'm trying to penetrate. So now we move on to songs. Honestly, I'm not the best person for song recommendations and whatnot because most of the time I listen to playlists that are already pre-made. And most of them are lo-fi, so they just kind of fade into the background, and that's the only music I listen to. At least that's 80% of the music I listen to. And then the rest of it is mostly EDM, unironically. For the prompt of songs and lyrics that inspire me, I kind of had to dig back in time a little bit. The song whose lyrics I'm currently writing is Peace of Mind by Above and Beyond. I do state preference over the Mayan and Shane 54 Summer of Love remix. It came out in 2015, 2016, and I gotta say the lyrics didn't really mean too much to me then, but now that I've gone through the past 5-6 years, they mean a lot more to me and I understand them a lot more. It's just really funny to think that when you're 15 or 16, you think that you understand so much about the world or about being an adult because you're basically the size of an adult. If I had to stick a theme on all these songs, it would definitely be a message of hope and self-love, which I think is a fine message indeed to bring into 2021. The next category is books, and to be honest, I should have a lot more on this list, but I didn't do as good of a job reading this year, unfortunately, which is really sad for me because I love reading. So I just included two of my classic favorites, which are Six of Crows and The Book Thief. And now that I think about it, I should have included Lady Midnight on that, by Cassandra Clare. I think I was just not the biggest fan of the last book in the Dark Artifices series, so I think that just overshadowed how much I loved Lady Midnight. But anyway, because I'm not that good at timing my voiceovers, we have already moved on to places, and I decided to do a little bit more doodling for this spread. So I drew some landmarks, I guess. These ones definitely are not limited to 2020 because I literally went nowhere in 2020, as one should. So I opted instead to draw symbols of places that really influenced me. And actually every single one of these is from the summer of 2019. I did 2 study abroad programs back to back. It was literally 1 month in France, in the city of Dijon, and the next month it was in China. Aside from these experiences being really fun, they also really helped me grow up and gain confidence as a young adult. People always say that abroad changes you, and I'm gonna be another one of those people, I guess. Ultimately, I just wanted to commemorate the very formative moments that I had, because honestly, it is an insane privilege that I was able to go to these places and have these experiences. Moving right along, we have some words to live by. The first one is actually just something that I say to myself a lot. And actually I misquoted myself here because I ran out of room. The true quote should be, if you can do this, then you can do anything. But as you can see, I kind of ran out of room here. So I just changed it to, if you can do this, anything is possible. And then I added some stars because visually it just looked really unbalanced. And then I did a quote from Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. I can't say my R's very well, but I'm working on it. Anyway, this is from The Little Prince, Le Petit Prince, and I don't know, it's just stuck with me through the years. And to translate it into English, it basically says, what is essential is always invisible to the eyes, which I guess relates back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Am I right, fellow psychology nerds? Okay, but moving along, we have some role models, and a lot of these are actually from YouTube, if not all. I don't know, we'll see. But the first is Sadia. I'm not gonna try to pronounce her last name because I don't want to say it wrong, but she's a YouTuber and she runs pickup lines and she's just so great. Next we have Nathaniel Drew, who is yet another YouTuber, and he makes videos about travel, philosophy, introspection, and honestly a lot more. And his videos are just really well produced. Last but not least, we have 5UP, an Among Us player. And I wanted to include him because, no joke, employing some of the ways that he argues and advocates for himself have actually made me more effective as a negotiator and an advocate for myself. Moral of the story is that video games have transferable skills sometimes. Alright, so let's talk priorities, why don't we? Honestly, the guidelines on this page kind of confused me, but I think it's supposed to indicate hierarchy somehow. I don't know, it's given me really golden spiral vibes. Thing that I'm writing about is listening to your body, because I have a history of not doing that in my young life, and I think that it's been responsible for a lot of like sports injuries and like the problems with my wrist that I've been having. Below that are career and M2DA, and I was really intentional about that because I'm sad to say that for a lot of my life, this would have been flipped. Like I would have had career and passion projects on the top and then body on the bottom, because I would have thought of myself as expendable. And that's exactly the kind of mentality that led to me doing things like staying up really late to study or continuing to dance while I was injured because my competitive dance team needed me, I guess. And while they were short-term solutions, in the long run they result in things like me burning out, having probably lifelong injuries, and hating dance. So yeah, not the most happy of endings. But it is a good segue into my values and beliefs, just so happens to be the next page. Wow! I could really only think of one that I have at the moment, although I'm sure I'll fill up the circles a lot more as time goes on. The only value that I have for now is to live slowly and meaningfully, and I think that ties this page together pretty nicely. Alright, so the last segment of all these like inspiration pages is 3 things to improve, change, or achieve. And honestly, it was really hard to come up with things because it's really hard to foresee the future at this point in history. Nevertheless, I was able to come up with 2. So the first of these is to be more responsive with emails, DMs, and the like, because for one, I get really overwhelmed by my email inbox, which is kind of stupid, but it's a thing. And the other thing is that I am so bad at answering my DMs, and I really want to feel more connected to my community, so I'd like for that to change. My other goal is to become a better planner, and honestly, I'm hoping that'll change now that I'm not using a bullet journal anymore, because I think it just gave me too much freedom, honestly. So for 2021, I decided that I would introduce a lot more structure into my planning systems through this Mossery planner and also through Notion. And now with that done and said and out of the way, it is time for us to fill out our 2020 recap. I was really tempted to only write down things that were happy memories, but I realized that a lot of the negative memories that I had from this year were actually critical points in my life, and I learned really important things along the way, so I decided to include a mix. So that was some interesting food for thought. And now, at last, while we are in the last 2 to 3 minutes of this, I am finally starting to write down things for the future, like dates that I'm actually planning for. I just decided to write down the bare bones. So I have, when the spring semester starts, I have the break days. I'm basically just writing down my academic calendar because, that's always useful to have. And then the very last thing that I did was add these washi tape tabs. And I find that this is really helpful because I tend to get lost in my planners and my bullet journals, but every time that I use a tab like this, it just makes things so much easier. Honestly, it was a little bit of a struggle because this washi tape was thin, like pretty thin, and I was just really trying to make it look good. So I put a lot of pressure on myself, and when that happens, performance issues can happen. But fortunately, we are blessed by the magic of editing and fast forwards, so my struggling looks a little less terrible, I guess. I also decided to put in some washi tape tabs for the months of January and February. And that's pretty much it for what I did to prepare for 2021 in my Mossery Co. planner. So here's the final flip through. And that's it. Thank you all so much for watching. It was a pleasure chatting with you. I hope that you enjoyed my little anecdotes, my little musings on life. I really appreciate you guys for sticking around. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next week. I'm trying out this new thing which is called a schedule, and ideally I should be uploading every Friday at 9 a.m. So until then, take good care of yourselves, everybody.